Hello, everyone. I'm Yanis, and welcome to Easy Online TEFL. I've started this channel because I know that a lot of you out there are looking to start teaching online, whether it's to create content for the internet, whether it's to supplement your income or to start your own business, or even if your company has made you teach online. I'm hoping with this channel to give you some of the tools and some of the tips that you need in order to make that a success for yourself. I've been a teacher just like yourself. I taught English for over 10 years. And on top of that, I've also been a content creator on the internet. I've done a lot of content for like 5, 6 years. I've done YouTube videos, I've done podcasting, I've done live streams. As you can see, I'm a bit of a junkie for gear as well. So I've got quite a few things that I use that might be a little bit overkill for what I do, but I am very much into making internet content. And right now, I'm also working in e-learning. So all of this stuff is things that I know quite a bit about. So I'm hoping to kind of share some of my knowledge with you to help you out. So for this video, I'm kind of hoping to give you a quick little introduction on what you need to get started with teaching online, whether you're teaching language, which is mostly primarily my expertise, or anything else, or you want to do content for the internet. This is all going to be pretty helpful for you all. And it's going to be an introduction in the sense that I'm not going to go in depth with things. So, as a bit of a disclaimer, if there are things that you would like to know a little bit more about and get a little bit more information about how to set things up, please put those questions in the comment section below, and I'll be sure to make videos about that. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to give you a little bit of a rundown on the things that you're going to need to get started and what kind of priorities you need to set in terms of purchases so that you don't find yourselves overwhelmed. Because one of the big myths that I'm trying here to demystify for all of you is that you don't have to spend a lot of money in order to make content on the internet or to teach online or do literally anything on the internet. It can actually be a very cheap or relatively inexpensive endeavor if you make the right purchases and you make the right moves or you use the right hacks. Right. First thing that's most important of it all, audio. Right now, you are hearing me at a very, very crisp and very good level right now. And the reason for that is because I've spent quite a bit of time working on my audio. I also have a pretty decent microphone over here and a mixer, which I'm not quite sure if you can see over here. These are all things that you don't really need, but I've made sure as a content creator that you can hear me as clearly as possible. And that's something that's going to be very important for your own teaching, especially if you're teaching language where you want your students to be able to hear your pronunciation very nicely, very cleanly. Audio is going to be the most important thing that you're going to implement into your teaching. So if you've set aside any money or if you have a little bit of money and you're looking to make a purchase on anything to get yourself started, by all means, without hesitation, let that be a microphone. Absolutely. You could do a headset. Like a lot of people do work with headsets. Some people actually teach online and make content with their Apple earphones, and that's okay. But the problem is that any headset out there is going to have a microphone with a lot of limitations. And the problem also is that there aren't that many that I could sit down and recommend to you, and any price points that I could give you that could give you that very nice, crisp, crystal clear audio, like kind of the one that you're hearing here. But what I'm trying to say is that if you're going to get a headset, if you want to get a headset because you want to have a two-in-one situation or you can't fit something on your desk, buy something from a reputable company like Logitech or like Sennheiser. But please make sure that you make it something that isn't $100 or £100 or whatever. Make sure you're not getting something that expensive of a headset because you're you're going to actually encounter a ceiling when it comes to how good a headset microphone can possibly be. If you have that kind of money on the side, or if you're willing to invest that kind of money on something, I think it's better that you put that into a microphone. I can give you two recommendations for microphones right off the bat that will be super easy to set up and super easy to use and not that expensive. So there's this company called Blue, and they make two microphones. One is the Blue Snowball, and then its older brother, the Blue Yeti. Both of these microphones are excellent for getting started and for most of your content creation career. You don't even need to upgrade after quite a long time, and depending on how much money you're also making, right? The blue Snowball is the more inexpensive of the two. It's almost about half a price, probably actually half the price of the Yeti. But the Yeti is actually the baby of the content creation world at the moment. Like, it's the considered the gold standard when it comes to an entry to mid-level range kind of microphone. They're both excellent because they have really crystal clear audio. They're USB, which means you don't have to fiddle with things like an audio interface or a mixer or anything of that sort. And finally, most importantly, they also have stands. And that's not the most important thing, but I don't know why I said that. Both of these microphones will not steer you wrong. They're good microphones, crystal clear audio, all of these things that you need. And they are very simple to set up. So you're not going to have any problems using them whatsoever. So if you do have money on the side and you want to make a purchase, this is the one that you want to go for. Now, again, I can't really recommend anything that's of a lower price than that, because anything lower might not be that great. You might be better off just hanging on with your earbuds or whatever it is you're using at the moment until you have enough money to get at least a Snowball, because a Snowball will be about 50 pounds, 40 to 50 pounds, depending, and maybe you can get it on a sale as well. But this is a very good entry point for you to begin with audio for your content. Now, moving on, let's talk a little bit about video, about getting our handsome little, pretty little mug right front and center for our students, right? First of all, I need to explain something before talking about any purchases whatsoever, is that video is not going to be as important, especially considering that your students are more interested in the pronunciation, in hearing what you say rather than video. Like, mostly people seem to be more averse to bad audio than they are to bad video. And even for like an entry level laptop, for instance, that has like a built-in webcam in there, those typically tend to not have very bad video quality. Now, if you're feeling that your video is a little bit too grainy, or if it's a little bit too dark, there is a solution that doesn't even need to cost you anything, and that is lighting. As you can see up here, I have a nice little desk lamp that I got from IKEA, and I have another one right over here as well. Nothing fancy when it comes to lighting. Right now, I'm being lit by a very cheap ring light that's kind of hanging over my camera's lens, but that's not the point. The lighting is going to be the most essential thing. The reason you can see me very clearly right now is because I have that ring light over there. The reason that my audience on Twitch can see me very clearly is because I have these desk lamps. I don't actually have any very awesome cameras that I'm working with right now. It is because lighting is enough to make you look nice and clear. And that's gonna be just fine to have for even when you're teaching online. So what I would say is, if you're feeling that your video is grainy, if you feel like your video is a little too dark, get yourself a desk lamp and make that shine on you. But just be sure that that is happening from behind the camera and not towards the camera. Just making that clear. I know that that's kind of an obvious thing, but you never know. Now, if you really are hankering for getting a webcam or getting a camera of some sorts to get yourself sorted, or maybe your computer didn't come with a webcam and you really need to show your handsome little mug to your students, let's start off with probably one of the most obvious things. It's very likely that you have one of these things over here, a smartphone. And smartphones these days have some of the best cameras and really good quality cameras that to do pretty much anything from content creation to conferencing to whatever. So there are pieces of software that you can use to link up your phone to your computer and use it as some sort of a webcam. Or you can do a little trick that I did for this video as well, is that I hit record on my recording software here and on my camera, and I did 3 claps, and then I used my software to sync those two up. But that is if you are going to be making video content, that not doing something live. But you can still use your phone as a webcam for live video that way. You just need a software that's going to hook up your phone to your computer, and you should be golden. Now, that's another inexpensive, practically free way of doing things. Now, in terms of webcam, I can't recommend the other gold standard of the content creation world, and that is the Logitech C920 that you're seeing over here. But a little bit of a problem. It's a bit out of stock everywhere at the moment, and it's probably also being price gouged to no end. Please please, please, please do not pay 200 pounds, 100 something dollars for this webcam over here. It is not worth it at all. If you can't really find it at a reasonable price, go for something else. Logitech has another webcam that you can easily find that is less than 50 pounds, and it's actually going to be more than enough for what you want to do. It's the Logitech mm, the Logitech C270. And that is more than enough because, first of all, it's not fancy 1080p resolution, 60 frames per second. But let me tell you something. First of all, for teaching online and for starting out content on the internet, you don't need 60 frames per second. 30 frames per second is going to be more than enough. 720p resolution is also pretty awesome as well. And actually, you want to have low resolution because a lot of your students are probably going to have very low bandwidth internet. And if you have like this really bloated video that's really high resolution, it's going to actually going to buffer a lot for them, or it's going to create a lot of problems for them. So they have to either lower the quality if that's available in your software, or you're going to have to do without video. So that's not going to be good. That's another thing you need to consider, and something we might have to go in depth in another video. Definitely, guys, go for something that's going to give you a decent picture. And most webcams, unless there's something like really cheap, like $10, $20, they're probably going to give you a decent picture. You can't go wrong with Logitech stuff. And like I said, if your laptop already has a webcam in it, consider just giving yourself some lighting and calling it a day until you have enough money to upgrade and we can get the C920 at a logical price. So the next step for teaching online is actually quite simple. You need a piece of software to interact with your students with, to get them into a class and teach them. So this is mostly pertaining to live classes at the moment. So the one that everybody uses a lot all the time and references right now is either going to be Zoom or it's going to be Skype. Now, here's the problem with Zoom. I'm not sure what they're doing right now in terms of their free accounts. I don't know how many students you can have in a free account and all that. I haven't looked into it that much, but I can. If you want me to go in depth, let me know in the comment section below. But I do know that in order to get a lot of the features that they have, you need to pay for it. Skype, on the other hand, it may not have fancy features like the breakout rooms where you can divide your students into groups to do group work without everybody talking on top of each other. But it's definitely a serviceable app. The one problem I have with Skype is that Skype is not exactly the greatest software ever made. In fact, I kind of feel like it's kind of on the way out. Like, I think it just still exists because a lot of people residually use it, like older people like myself. I've discovered that a lot of my students in the past, they really didn't use Skype. They didn't have Skype accounts. So it was kind of silly to ask them to start a Skype account. And it was a bit of a hassle as well because of the Microsoft account system and all of that. So if I'm going to recommend a software that is going to have all the features that you need that include screen sharing and whiteboards, unfortunately, no breakout rooms here either. That seems to be mostly a Zoom thing, but you can kind of circumvent that with this app here that I'm going to tell you about. That is Discord. Discord used to be just an app for gamers, but now has evolved into far more than that. It's a social network in and of itself. You can make a whole server and a whole community where you can have your students actually interacting with each other after classes or outside of classes to ask you questions and stuff like that. But even if you just want to use it as a video app, you've got screen sharing, you've got a whiteboard system, you can have multiple students on the classroom. You can probably have them connect with each other in order to make little groups and then have them join the call again after the time is up. Your choice. You could figure out a way to do this. And there are many ways you can do that without having the fancy breakout rooms of Zoom. But it's all for free. And that is the beauty of Discord. But the best part about Discord is that it has the cleanest audio I've ever heard from a video chat app. And definitely, absolutely, this is one thing that we've said is probably the most important thing when it comes to teaching and making content online is the audio. So be sure to try it out, because you'll also find that a lot of your younger students might actually have Discord accounts already. So it could make it a lot easier for them to get on board with it. Now, finally, we need a bunch of software in order to get things connected, in order to make our classrooms functional for slideshows, uh, documents, sharing files, all of that. Google, people. Use Google. Google Drive, Google Documents, Google Classroom. Google Classroom is kind of going to be a little bit of a, you can use it as a little bit of a hub between you and your students, where you can post homework and they can submit homework and you can do some corrections, and that would like immediately go back to them. It's really cool to use Google Classroom. Even for one-on-one classes, you can have like a classroom for each of your students where you can share things with them and assign them work and communicate with them or give them announcements. Like having a little mini website where you can have quick access to your students and quick interactions, so you can, get all of that stuff going. And it's absolutely free. All of the software, all of the Google stuff is absolutely free. So have a look at it. I know you're probably, a lot of you are already using Google Drive and Documents. Trust me, if you have Classroom, you can see how it could be a bit of a glue for all of these things. Bit of a bonus thing that I wanted to give for those of you who are looking to make content, like recording yourself and recording yourself and screencasting yourself and all of that. There is an app out there that is used by live streamers, but also, uh, YouTube content creators as well. It's called OBS, Open Broadcasting Software. It's quite a fiddly app, I have to say, but once you get a little bit out of your under your belt, it's pretty simple. It becomes pretty simple to use, but it's also extremely powerful. So if you want to make videos where you probably have, like, let's say, a PowerPoint presentation and you have yourself in the corner over here from your camera, it is very simple to do on OBS, and it's absolutely free. Hence the open in the O over there. So if you're looking to make content on the internet, or even live streaming yourself teaching or whatever, OBS is going to be your definite starting point over there. So if you do want some information on how to set that up as well, comment section. So that's gonna do it, everybody. This was a quick and dirty video to get you a little bit accustomed to what kinds of things you need in order to teach online and make content online. Hope you found this useful. If you did find it useful, please leave me a like. It helps a lot. And if you want to learn more about all this stuff, you can hit the subscribe button right over there. Standard YouTuber sign off, call to action, all that stuff. And yeah, feel free to leave comments below with any questions you might have. And yeah, I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye-bye.